You sit.
My stuff's right here.
Okay.
I got snacks too because I forgot to eat today. Okay. So, sorry I'm a little late. Call the meeting to order at 3:38 for notation purposes. Okay, so I don't have any community comments or anything that's come to me that I know of. We do, so I don't know if we have to go through town council. This will be a question for Green. Tyler has submitted his resignation and I will double check with her. I think all we have to do is accept it, but I think town council also has to. I might be wrong.
Okay.
So I'll double check with her on that. So because of, I do have a community comment. Sorry, it just occurred to me. So Melanie Gall reached out to me and expressed concern about removing the invasive species from the trail due to visibility from other people's properties, and had concerns about native plant species that may need to be transplanted there at this time. So we have until, I think it was September, is the Global Day of Service for Lily. At this time, I don't think that that is a concern. After doing the BCIC walkthrough with them, we have a lot of really great native species. They're just currently being choked out by, pushed down, depleted of nutrients by the invasive species. And after speaking to Corinne and getting her input, I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on this, but as far as I'm concerned, the people that bought the homes along that trail, like they knew that trail was there. If they want to get a privacy fence or put in like topiaries, that's their discretion.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's our obligation and our duty to remove those invasive species.
Yeah.
And once we have that fully done, which this is a couple years worth of project, so it's not like we're doing it all at once. But once we have that all done, we can have a better handle on what's out there that, maybe if there's some areas where we need to touch up or patch. But I don't think that that's something that
we can just, keep it in mind, I guess.
Yeah.
Observe like how, because depending on where the houses are and how much we're pulling out, some houses might have still more coverage versus others. And then if it's multi-years in like next year, stuff will have grown. So it might be
it might not even be
a concern.
And I mean, there is a lot of stuff towards the base of those invasive species that are struggling to come up that are healthy out there. I mean, I know you've seen them because you've been out there. So,
and there's, I would think the privacy issue would be more on the north side, right? Because you can look down versus the south side.
Yes.
And there's really not much houses on the south part. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so the north side.
Yeah. But I mean, it's been there.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere. I hate to put it that way, but
we can make a note of it, and then
I mean, we can always come back to it closer to.
They can see about bringing in new plants or something.
Well, and she mentioned trying to do it piece by piece, but I thought that I was clear in that. I mean, that is the goal. Is we're not going to do it all at once.
Because Global Day of Service, what was the project you were thinking about having them do?
They're going to be coming out, and we're going to basically be working chunk by chunk down the trail.
So that's the Global Day of Service in September.
Yes.
Okay. So
we'll have a group. We'll have like an A team and a B team, like we did. So we did have them come out and do the work with us for their community outreach project for their new hires. 60 new hires.
Fun.
I ended up, they did a catered lunch at Stookies, which was nice. I was a little anxious talking in front of that many people, but they came out and we basically split up into like teams.
Okay.
And so I think that's going to be kind of how we do it for the day of service is we'll have like team A and team B. Team A will start working on clipping and removing like the Asian honeysuckle and the things on the edges of the trail that are just
Yeah.
way overgrown. I walked that trail the other day and it's bad. And then it'll probably be me and one other person, and we'll have the public works truck and maybe my truck. I don't know at this point, but we'll try to have at least one truck out there that people can start throwing stuff into as they're cutting back, and we'll go back and forth on hauls like we did for the Lily thing this last week. And then we'll have a B team that comes behind with the sprayers and sprays as we're chopping back. That way we're knocking out both tasks.
So yeah, it'll be September, next fall. It's gonna come. Everything dies in the winter. So
Well,
like,
and that's the
privacy
other
issue
thing
is,
the
like,
privacy issue in the winter
it's
doesn't
still
seem
there,
to be.
even though, but probably less people use it in the winter. But yeah, we could always see how things look in the spring once things start growing, and if there's maybe concerns. I guess maybe, fill it out. Maybe we'll see. Okay.
And then on that note, everything went amazingly. I did not cry this time. I don't know how many times I've cried at spring and fall cleanup when we have a ton of people out there. Didn't this time. It was good, Haley. You've seen me cry, I think, like a handful of times anytime we have a ridiculous amount of volunteers come out. It's very humbling. But we probably took about 30 to 40 truckloads worth of just brush and debris and crud up to the burn pile.
Nice.
We got that whole section where the flower beds were kind of uncovered by Monica and Emma. On the left-hand side, walking into the Lions Park, cleared out. We cut back a bunch of things from there to kind of create a nice view. And then we're going to be putting hostas in those garden beds just because they're more shaded, and it'll create a nice, pretty ground coverage. So that was done. The pollinator and community garden space is dug up. I just need to go out there with the tiller, which Cam did bring back and is fixed. Thank you so much, Haley. So I'm going to take that tiller out there and till up the ground, and then I'm going to spray with vinegar because we actually want to kill off any roots in that section because we're going to have raised garden beds out there.
Yeah.
I don't want
installing raised garden beds?
We are.
Yeah.
Galvanized steel, baby. It'll last a lot longer. I have not heard back from the AARP grant yet, just as a side note. But the other thing that they did is they a group of them went up to the North Trailhead. Monica and Emma were out there. Some of the spruce trees towards the front were kind of laying on the ground and covering some of the spring florals that we get, like the tulips and the daisies and the daffodils and stuff like that. So a group of them helped lift the tree and cut back some of the lower limbs. And then we also had a group of them at the Tom Johnson Park, and they ended up helping we put down a little bit more grass seed and just kind of spread that around just to try to make sure we had full coverage, even though we'd already done it with the sower. And then we respread some straw out there. Both times we got the straw, we got them from the same person. His name's Boone, and he actually works with the local FFA. So we have not had to pay for straw for that, which is great and super appreciated. But yeah, that's kind of what we did during that day. It was quite a few hours, but a lot of fun. We laughed, we had a good time. A couple of them have actually offered to come back out in their free time on their own to come out and volunteer if we ever need it. One of them is actually coming back on Wednesday to help me because we've got some preparation for the farmers and artisans market that I'm going to need to do. So on that note, because of the graphics issue, I reached out to Mount Graphics. Originally, I reached out to Steve Horton at Crossroads, but they don't do vinyl print. I reached out to Mount Graphics. They may be able to help us with the last little bit of graphics, which will be like the sticky vinyl that we put on for the season of the movie showings and
Yeah,
the
the removable
sponsors.
part. Yeah.
And so I'm going to get that information to them today. Something we need to look into and that I'm going to take a look at this week at some point is the garage roof is leaking. It's not a lot, but there's a lot of little spots, if that makes sense. So it's not like it's just flooding through the roof, but there's little spots here and there that are starting to
Maybe a new roof.
hopefully not. It's a tin roof, but I am gonna get some advice and input. I've done some roofing before, so I'm gonna take a look and see if I can figure out if it's what it's from, and then we can go from there. This week, I am going to be at the park a lot. I am going to be sweeping the sidewalks with a push broom, just try to get some of that gravel up and just make it look a little nice and spruced up. I have to hang the banners on Wednesday when Blake comes out. I might also
Who's
see
Blake again?
Blake is one of the Lily volunteers
Oh.
that offered to come back out. And then I might see if Marcus, also one of the other Lily volunteers, might be willing to come out, and we're going to try to spray the park. I need to get a hold of Monica and Emma and see if they're available that day, because Wednesday the wind isn't going to be too bad, and it's going to be a nice day, and we've got days leading up where it's not going to be raining, and we want to give about 1 to 2 days before the event. The spray that we use is pet and child safe. It's Biff.
No, I've never heard of it.
Bavarian. I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, it takes a lot for that to become toxic. And at the dilution that we use it at,
Yes.
yeah. So that is the goal for Wednesdays, to spray the park, and then also I'm gonna go up to Charlie and Deborah Smith's flower wagon back there. And we're going to get a couple of different colorful florals to put around the gazebo, just to kind of get it nice and spruced up and pretty. One of our sponsors is going to be in the gazebo for the farmers market, so I want to make sure it looks nice for them. They donated quite a bit of money. So, and then Scott Carney he runs Radio Mom. I dropped off some tickets for the circus there to him, and he's going to be interviewing me telephonically May 27th at 10 a.m. Just for a little more information on the circus and what we're doing here in town with the parks. So that'll be coming up. It is my understanding he's probably going to use some of that on air, which... But I don't have a radio voice. He has a radio voice. I'll tell you what, but pretty cool guy. Anyway, florals for the gazebo. Already talked about that. Talked about tilling the pollinator garden. So we did. Karina and I talked, and I don't know. Sorry, I heard my name. So what we did was for toilet paper and paper towels in the bathrooms. The dispensers are a universal size after looking it up, and I found a less expensive option for universal commercial toilet paper and paper towels on Amazon, both of which are 2-ply, because right now we currently have 1-ply toilet paper in the bathroom, and it sucks. So we went ahead and ordered that, but we did a subscribe and save. And so the way that works is like Karine change it to like every other month, every 2 months, or every 3 months based off of our needs. We're going to give it a month and see where we're at. Marilyn's going to communicate with me. If we can switch to every other month, we will. And then at the end of the season, we can pause the subscription. And then starting next season, when we get close to spring cleanup time, we can renew it so that we don't have to keep going through guesstimating what we're going to use, especially with all the new events and stuff. It's going to change how much we do and don't need. And then also having 2-ply toilet paper versus 1-ply, because people blow through the toilet paper we currently have because it's just
Yeah. That sounds like a good idea. Yeah, I use
tissue.
Amazon's just correct and safe.
So, and that gives us a 5 to 15% discount on that too. So, but it was about a $20, well, hold on, $40 difference with both of them per order by doing it that way, which is a savings for us. So, Freshly Dairy was added to the market list. I updated the format on there.
Okay, yeah, because I was not doing great with keeping up the format. I have also had DNKI Farms.
Oh, yes.
She's going to she might just be able to do the later dates. So she will probably do, unless it was a different farm I was emailing, which I can confirm. But there were 2 farms who will be doing it. They just gotta actually get back to me. One of them can only do later in the season. And then I did get Charles Edwards. I contacted him and was like, would you like to sell stuff? Since you're always selling stuff, do you want to sell it at the farmer's market? So he's gonna do it. He's just gonna get the contract over too.
Perfect. Yeah, we worked with him for July 4th last year as well. So as of right now,
peanut butter guy, homemade peanut butter guy. I gotta get back to him.
Yeah.
So I think I got maybe 4.
That one.
I'm so proud of getting 4. Okay, technically I only have 1,
but hopefully we get them locked in. So I think on average right now we're looking at like 10 vendors.
Yeah.
Today, which is far less than we'd hoped for, about a quarter of what we hoped for. But I knew that it was, I think I remember saying this to you. I was like, it's probably, what was the word? And something similar to being an overachiever. I was saying I probably am overestimating myself here on. It is, our first market. That's a thing. And then
a lot of the people were getting back and saying like, I'm already committed to stuff.
Well, and
I don't know if
I forgot that the Mother's Day, so they do a huge Mother's Day market in Lebanon on May 10th. And I forgot about it when I set our start date.
Yeah.
So that was my fault. Yeah. So that kind of shifts some things around. I think with them might be doing Saturdays. Okay. I'm waiting to hear back from them.
Yeah.
I'll keep updating.
Library said no. They've all summer programs.
I already reached out.
Okay, you did. And then I messaged the Sugar Creek Art Center, and one artist got back to me, and I wanted to ask if she still has to have like a vendor fee if she's an artist.
Yes, our artists are still doing the vendor fees.
So,
but I mean, make sure she knows about the discounted rate now that we're this late in the season.
Yeah. And my plan was to, after the May 1, recontact a few of the people and be like, we still have a daily rate if you want to do.
Yeah, we still do drop-ins. I did get the permits submitted, or the permit stuff submitted to the health department, and I haven't heard back from them yet, but I don't see any issues. Basically, any food vendors that we have, though, I'll need to update on there. Those are the ones that they're most concerned about, for obvious reasons. So we'll talk just a little bit more in a second on that. Really quick, I finally got a hold of Ryan Nutnaw.
Ryan, spell it.
Nuppnau.
Ryan, Nuppnau.
Nupnaw or
Nupnaw? That's Nupnaw to me. Nupnaw?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So I reached out to him because we have some cracks in the tennis court already.
Mm-hmm. So this was the stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Go on.
So turns out when that was done, it was clearly stated and understood that it was basically slapping lipstick onto a problem,
Mhm.
because at the time the cracks were so bad that our insurance had forced us to close the gates on that, which understandably it was bad. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So the $16,000 to fix it was basically to patch what they could. For right now, it is usable, and is not unsafe. It sucks, and it's unfortunate, but I was talking to him, and I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a new quote for placing that court in a different area. So I'm kind of thinking maybe like over closer to like where the volleyball court was. Not exactly where the volleyball court is, but I mean, we want to keep the courts close to each other.
Yeah.
But part of why it's that bad is because of that slope and that hill there.
Okay.
So I was talking to him about that. This is not a this year thing. This is down the road, but this is something to keep in mind. And I guess when Leslie was in office, at the time of this, she'd gotten a quote for post-tension cement instead for that court. And I mean, it was $500,000. But instead of, moving it, I don't know why she may or may not have felt like that would have been, I guess we'll figure that out as we go. I can try to reach out to her too and see if she has any insight on that. And then I reached back out to him about the basketball and pickleball lines that was emailed to us. I forgot to bring that up. I do not know if that was included in that 16,000 or not.
Okay.
If it was, I think we should obviously go ahead and just get it done. If it wasn't, I think that maybe we should hold off and.
Yeah, if it wasn't, I'd hold off. I don't know how often it's used. Do you know how often the tennis court's used?
Oh, the tennis courts are used a lot.
Yeah. Well, and then
A
for
lot.
pickleball, do you know if there's a?
I haven't really seen. I think maybe I've seen like one time somebody out there for pickleball. I don't think that that's as common.
Yeah, I would have thought tennis would have been more common.
Yeah, it's mostly tennis in my experience. And with the basketball court, I don't know if depending on what his quote is, it might be worthwhile to see if we can get some other quotes before making a decision on that.
Okay.
He is sending somebody out that he works with as a contractor for cement and pavement. That person is going to walk the trail with me. We're going to find some of the worst areas that need patched up that we're going to apply for with that MyBoard grant so that I have an exact estimate to put in there. And that way we have an estimate. We know how much he's saying, okay, this is going to cost you this. I might get a couple of different estimates depending on.
Yeah.
And then I can finish up the process. I don't know what I'm saying. We can finish that up. I can finish up that grant. There is a grant through the Boone County Health Department right now. It's a little specific. I don't know if there's anything that we have that can fall under that context. I'll send it over to you guys via email to look at, and you guys can let me know what you think. And then we've got the crafts order from Amazon for the market. So we've got a couple different crafts that we're going to order and do just on different market dates. We'll have different stuff out there. We also have a 200-foot hose and hose splitter because currently we have 100 feet worth of hose. And it doesn't quite make halfway from the volleyball court to the bathrooms to be able to water that grass.
Mhm.
Granted, it's been rainy, so I haven't had to worry
Yeah,
about it,
that's good.
thankfully, but it's still good to have that extra hose length. So there's 200-foot hose on here to bridge the gap for the rest of that, and a hose splitter. But I think depending on the days of the market and the weather, we might actually put out some of those sprinklers on like the backside of the park for the kids. We will have our table, which will have like our event information, what we do, current needs, volunteer opportunities, programs that we have. And then, of course, on this order, we've got our tablecloths, which we will reuse. We've got our crafts. I have some like sun catcher wind chimes. I've got some like birdhouse wind chimes that the kids can paint and do their own like stringing of their chimes. I've got rock painting. We've got some DIY like pinwheels that you can create your own pinwheel. We've got some balloons like we did for 4th of July. And then we've got a farm backdrop with like little balloon arch that's reusable. So the backdrop and all of that will be in the small pavilion again, just like we did last year. So we'll have like a little photo area. We'll have craft stations over there, and we'll have our face painter over there. That's what we did last year. It was nice kind of having a section that was just geared towards the kids, give them something to do. It is the same face painter as last year, who does by donation only. Her name is Allison. She's amazing and probably the sweetest human. So we've got all of that. All of it is reusable. All of it is stuff that we can easily pick up, put in the garage. So that's going to get ordered today so that it's here in time. And then we hang it out. 1 second here. Oh, no. Unboxing the graphics, so I haven't seen these yet, but I figured we probably all wanted to see them.
Is everything planned for those extra dates? For the extra movie dates, or not yet?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have the permits for all of the movie dates. I haven't announced all of the movies yet. I announced the first few. I've been kind of slammed with personal stuff and work stuff and park stuff. So I have not been managing the social media account as much as I would like. Tyler has turned in his park keys, and he has also been removed as an admin on the Facebook page. I don't know how to do this. I'm doing this on camera. Oh, embarrassing. Don't know what I'm doing with my life, everybody. All right. So I haven't even looked to make sure these are correct, so hopefully they are. I know in the past they've sometimes had issues with graphics coming out incorrectly.
So were these graphics from Tyler's work?
Mhm.
And these are the ones they're not paying for? Or what they, or we're not?
We're paying them for the banners. I'm not paying them an install fee if he's not installing it. That's not happening. I have not received the invoice for this yet. was supposed to be $350, and it was my understanding that included him installing it. So if that is a separate charge that they added on to that, then I do not see how we are going to be paying for an install fee on something that this is gonna need to be cut down. Oh, okay. Do you want to grab that in? So, yeah, let's put it on this like this. That probably would have been wiser in the first place.
So is this what you ordered and expected?
Yes and no. Is my understanding the image was gonna fit and next edge. But I mean, it's the same size, so. At the end of the day, it's, I'm not gonna fight with him over it, and I'm not gonna. But, if anything, I'll see if maybe Mount Graphics might, I don't know. Might just leave it as is, might ask them if there's a way that they can trim it down and add some grommets, but, I mean, it's stitched,
Yeah.
but
So we haven't paid for it yet?
they haven't sent me the invoice.
Well,
Or
they
green.
could always, but I guess it's up to you if you would want them to redo it or not.
Considering they need it by this weekend, yeah, that's probably not gonna happen. Sorry. Oh, no. Too isolated. It's not.
That looks good.
That one looks,
Okay, I see what you mean, yeah, this one looks good.
I mean, I know, so I had graphics done in my home and they were pixelated, but when you actually step back, it didn't look pixelated. But I think that's fun. Again, that was supposed to fit, but. Now this was supposed to have wind slits in it though. Which did not happen. Okay, let me write this stuff down. Now with this one, I can trim it down on the edges here or pin it. Just use pins, it's fine, like safety pins.
Okay.
Because I only need to be able to get the top and bottom. This is gonna be what's going on the volleyball court fence facing the park.
Okay.
And this is what we leave the vinyl graphics from mounts for, because like Pizza King is providing our concessions this year. I don't know if they'll continue doing it.
Oh, okay.
So that'll be a removable graphic that goes here in this corner by the concessions. And then along the film strip will be all the movie titles.
Yeah, it's a nice idea. It's a nice design.
Yeah. So, and then of course, all of the sponsors that sponsor movie permits. Because these sponsors are different from the movie permit sponsors.
Okay.
These sponsors are the ones that helped us obtain the banners, bridge the cost of the banners, the sound equipment, the movie screen, and the projector.
Okay.
So these are the capital S sponsors, if that makes sense. A couple, actually, I think all but one of them ended up not only sponsoring the equipment, but also movies. So, yeah. But it doesn't look bad. I'm happy with it, so. All right. Those are the banners. I'm gonna have to loop that up because I have to measure it. I'll get a hold of Mount Graphics and see how much they're gonna charge us.
So what would be the name? I said Mount Graphics. We need to buy a vinyl sticker. Vinyl.
I mean, they basically are vinyl stickers, vinyl adhesive, however you want to put
Okay.
that.
for concessions provided by
And then the movies.
movie titles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there anything we need to vote for? I need to leave at 4:30, so just to make sure
Just
that.
need to vote on the minutes.
Okay.
So I make a motion to approve the minutes.
A second.
All in favor? So other than that, I think we are good. I tested the movies and the park equipment because we had to do a movie testing. Sometimes the movies aren't always compatible.
Mhm.
It did work. You're in business, so.
So then what do you need help with this coming weekend? Do you want us all there on Friday?
If you guys can, if you
Okay.
can't, then I figured it out before, right, Haley? Yeah. Fortunately, I've done this rodeo a time or two on my own. So, but if you guys can be there.
I don't think I can be there, but that's not. I'm the dirtbag. I'm like never ever.
I don't like that you call yourself
I am
that.
because I feel like
Your minimum obligation is being at the meeting.
I was like
Mhm.
I just tell people I'm like when I started it was very low key and I support Sarabi and her
Ambition, yeah.
like ambition.
We'll say, yeah,
And
there's like a lot.
I'm
that
a
you're doing.
chaos monkey.
But she is very ambitious. So
We can do you need, so Friday vendor check-in? Is there something like that?
Mhm.
Okay. What time do they have to be there then?
Vendors will probably start showing up about 4:00.
Okay.
Usually it takes them about an hour. I will need to set out the tablecloths, get the balloons and all that done.
Mhm.
Banners will already be up. Park will have been sprayed and mowed. So it'll be, getting the balloons set up, getting the banners, or getting the tablecloth set up, getting the picture booth area and the crafts set out,
Mhm.
checking in the vendors.
So if I came at 3 to help with
That's when I
setup,
plan to be out there.
okay, we'll try to get there. The kids going to the
We'll
park,
got-
that is an easy thing to do.
Because we'll have the lawn toys out as well, like the
Temperature gonna be on Friday.
it's supposed to be really nice this weekend.
Okay.
Just do a little rain dance for us. Let's hope that holds out. But we're gonna have, the cornhole set out and the jump ropes, and we've got a band that's gonna be okay, so I thought it was the whole band. I think it's just gonna be Isaac after talking to Ben, but either way, we're gonna have a musician out there. And then we'll have our table and yeah, we'll see. I always get like this right before events, by the way, Lindsay. Don't
What?
just beaten down and bedraggled. Ask Haley. I get like in this funk right before events, and then like the day of comes around and I see it all put together and I'm like, oh, it was all worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
So right now I'm just kind of in this like hope for the best, plan for the worst mentality.
Okay.
You'll notice this as time goes on. It's nothing personal. It's just one of those. I think I've been around the block a little too much. So
And then is there a movie
the movie is on Saturday,
Saturday night? Okay.
and it'll be either 8:30 or dusk.
Okay.
So
That's good. And then Saturday night clean up something. What happens then?
Saturday night, basically.
Vendors all clean up after themselves.
Yeah,
and then is
vendors
there-
will clean up after themselves. I'm still gonna do a walk through the park, pick up any trash that I see.
Okay.
We'll just fold up the tablecloths and the stuff for the farmer's market, which I mean is gonna be the following evening, so it's just gonna go in the garage basically and partially broken down so that we don't have to like redo everything.
Mhm.
And then
I'll try to be there for takedown and setup this weekend.
And then after movies, I'll probably just go out and
Yeah.
walk the park, grab anything
I can,
big.
yeah,
and-
I'll help. I can try to come Saturday night to help take stuff, trash for the farmer's market, and then
Well, and I think-
movies I'll be home.
I think for the most part, so we're gonna kind of spread out the trash cans too.
Yeah, hopefully it won't
throughout.
be that
So
bad.
people in Thorntown are pretty good about throwing away their trash,
Yeah.
even during the little league games. I mean, I might find some things here and there from kiddos, but for the most part, people are pretty good. We have a lot of trash receptacles out there.
Yeah.
And they're pretty good about picking up after themselves. So I'm hoping that continues.
Okay, sounds good.
So we
I'm
shall
excited.
see. It'll be
I will really hope we can get some last minute vendors. We'll see.
Well, let me know if you do.
Yep.
If you get, food vendors, like I said, I gotta add them on
Yeah.
the stuff for the health department.
Okay.
But, and then we've got, so right now we've got,
We got 14.
well, I took 2 off because
Oh,
they
you did?
never got back to me. I sent them the contracts and they didn't. And I do not have the dedication to continue hounding people for their contracts. So Girl Scouts is going to be out this Friday instead of Saturday.
And they're
But
selling cookies.
no, Meg Canfield came out during Holiday on Main Street. She was the one that had the booth right by the walkway with like the kids' dolls and the crafts and stuff. She does like volunteer coordinator outreach and sign up for the area. So she's going to be out there, Howling Owl Farms. I don't know how many, they're going to be out there. The face painter, and then we have the Eagles 11G Farms, which is, so Sherry and Jeff Randall that own Pizza King that's working with us. She actually owns multiple businesses, her and her husband both. So Jeff is on the fire department for, I think, Advance. They own that Pizza King, and then they also own a farm, and they're also property owners and rent out properties here in Thorntown. So their farm's going to be out there. The Eagles are going to be out there. Red Hills Cottage, they do produce and handmade goods. Infestation Design, which is owned by Tiffany Morris. She does some really neat. She also donates to us for spring and fall cleanup. And then Sanders Funny Farm, they are preparing to have lots of pretzels for us. Apparently that has been a really big seller. I'm really excited for some fresh pretzels. 6 Day Farm, they are doing artisan goods, not food goods though. Tim Bar is going to be out there. They started off locally. I think they are now like in stores, if I remember correctly. But they do like organic, non-GMO protein bars that are super healthy. I know one of the produce vendors we have does like microgreens and all sorts of other stuff. So, and then we also have Aspire Indiana coming out on, I believe it's Saturdays. I gotta update that on here because it got X'd out. And then we've got Freshly Dairy. And then I've got possibly Witham is going to be coming out as well.
Okay. And like I said, there were 3 other farms.
1, 2, 3.
So I'll try to
4,
focus on some
5.
food trucks. And see if
Yeah, because right now 5 of the vendors are produce vendors. So, and then you said Charlie and Deborah Smith.
they
gonna be
were going to
bringing-
do it. Yeah.
Okay.
I sent over the contract. They just got to get it back to me.
Okay.
So
So
that's the second one. And then there was another farm who, again, like I said, they were going to be later in the season, so probably not this one. And there were 2 other people. My neighbor owns a big farm and does a lot of gardening. So he always has extra produce. And then Crockett Farms, they couldn't do beef, but they said that they do a big vegetable garden. So
Mhm.
I think we'll have more vendors later because more people.
there's more
yeah.
time for
I like
veggies.
the idea of being like a little bit of a different farmer's market where we have local people coming and selling their produce.
And that has always been the end goal. Oh, one more thing, and then I'm gonna call the meeting to end because I know you've gotta go. For kickoff weekend, we are gonna be doing I have to get everything posted today, but we are gonna be doing a food drive for the local food pantry. Last year during July 4th barbecue, we did it and split it up between the two. At the time, we had 2 food pantries here in town. One of them has since closed down. The other one, I was reached out to and told that if they don't start getting some donations, they're going to be forced to close their doors too.
Okay.
So, with that being said, and it being the only food pantry in town, Haley knows this. I don't know if you know this, but pretty much every event that I've done with you guys or with the board, you guys as a generalized term, I have always tried to do some form of like community outreach or helping people from all sorts of demographics. This is going to be kind of the focus for opening weekend.
Sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
We have one food pantry, limited resources out here, and I don't want to see them put in the same position as the other food pantry.
So is it the one down the street?
New Beginnings, yes.
Yeah. That their donate if they could like work on their donation I cleaned out my grandma's pantry when she died, and anything that was like good, no expiration date passage, I like collected up, and I like asked around, where do I donate this? And it was so confusing. I think I donated it to the right spot, but they told me like a specific time and place. And so I show up, no one's there. Actually, Maddie's there.
Maddie, yeah. She's the one that reached out to me.
Maddie was there, but she was doing I think she was selling something on Marketplace or something to someone else. Like they had met in the parking lot of the church and was just like there incidentally. And they're like, yeah, it's over by that house. And I was like, okay. So I drive up to it, and they have a bin on the back that says clothing donations. And
they have a kids closet.
Yeah. I was like, well, I don't see anything for food, but it's just like a box. So I just put it in there.
That's what I would have done too in your situation.
I'm like, I don't even know. So it would be good to have a more organized food drive, because it's like, I don't know where to.
Yeah. Okay. So Maddie was the one that reached out to me. Maddie used to volunteer with us a lot more. She's just been really busy, and they've got land out here and more. And Maddie sent me a list of preferred donation items. So I'm going to work on a flyer for that and make sure that those preferred items are on there, and I'll push it on social media. I'm also going to, on Wednesday when Blake comes out, have him help me hang the bulletin board that still needs hung.
So Cameron wasn't able to help you with that?
Blake was there. We were talking about some other stuff. And
okay.
I was dealing with some personal things.
Okay. All right. I wasn't sure because I was in Tucson. I thought Cameron had done that. So
he had he brought the tiller
over,
and I think he realized that I was in the middle of a conversation about that whole situation that's going on in my personal life. So on that happy note, let's call this meeting to adjournment.
Okay.
4:26 p.m. We're going to go ahead and end the live stream. But that's what we have today.
Is kickoff weekend, like you mean like this weekend?